What are the typical closing costs associated with getting a mortgage? If you're wondering, listen on. Typical closing costs. Well, before the collapse in 07-08, really you could be looking from zero to the sky's the limit. But things got standardized in the process of the feds regulating the industry to prevent another collapse. So guess what? There is actually a more or less standard number now. And if somebody's quoting you zero for closing costs, another guess what? You're paying for it somewhere else, and typically that somewhere else is your interest rate. Unless, of course, your seller is paying for it, but that's a whole other conversation right there. So, typical closing costs. Really, depending on where in the country you're at, some of the fees may and do vary. Escrow fees, attorney fees, closing fees, those may vary somewhat. But you're on a typical $500,000 to $600,000 loan, you should be looking at roughly $5,000 for, again, mostly standardized closing costs. Your lender fees, appraisal, title and escrow, or title, escrow, closing, attorney fees, depending again on where in the country you're at, recording fees, those are pretty standard. Now, there is another category that is variable, and that's the one where nobody's going to be able to tell you upfront without actually knowing where in the country, again, you're located. Because that other piece is your prepaid property taxes and your prepaid homeowner's insurance. Homeowner's insurance is easy. It's usually a 1 year paid up front, and if you're doing an escrow account, meaning you're paying your tax and insurance with your monthly mortgage payment, tack on 2 more months to that 1 year up front. The taxes, however, again, some states differ from others. Some states will collect a year up front because they're only paid once a year, roughly. Other states pay every 6 months, so you're looking at 6 months upfront collection, plus usually another 2 to 3 months for the escrow reserve. So in a nutshell, usually you should not be looking at more than 2.5% for a standard $500,000 to $600,000 loan in closing costs and prepaid taxes, prepaid insurance. Now, if somebody's quoting you much higher than that, go line by line and see what's there on your loan estimate or your estimated fee sheet, because there may be other buried fees. Again, normally your closing costs should not be more than 2.5% of the purchase price of your home. If they get higher, dig. I'm not saying you should run, but ask the questions for sure. Have you been in a situation where the numbers were unusually high? If so, I would love to see your comments, and I would love to see what happened. See you in the next video.